Good afternoon, Guyana, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Government in Transition. My name is Hugh Todd, and this afternoon, joining us is Guyana's President-elect and next President, Dr. Irfan Ali. Dr. Ali, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me on your program, Hugh.
Dr. Ali, you're aware that we are in a period of transition. Albeit the process has been long, and we know why. We've seen all of the hurdles that we've had to cross. We know the architects of all of the problems that we face during this electoral process, and it's about to be winding down. But whilst we are going through all of this, and as a member of the Caribbean community, we've seen a lot of attacks on former Caribbean leaders, current Caribbean leaders, emanating from the APNU AFC camp. As Guyana's next president, and I should say president-elect, you will inherit a lot of the scorn that has been emanating out of Guyana, which you will have to address, and I know you're capable of doing that on behalf of Guyana. Please give Guyana a sense of relief since that you've seen that you'll be taking up office shortly, and how you'll be able to address such issues coming out of the APNU FC camp.
Thank you very much, Hugh. Well, first of all, I agree with you that the image of our country took a severe beating over the last few months. Well, more than months, maybe in the last year and a half since the passing of the no confidence motion. The image of a country is very important for stability, for investment, to ensure that you're presenting an image to the international community that you're a serious country, that you take seriously the rule of law, that you take seriously issues of democracy, that you take very seriously the Constitution of that country, and that you respect the international charters that you're a part of, that you're a good citizen as a country in terms of the global makeup of things, that you're a country who would adhere to the rule of law, to your international agreements, as I said, international charters. And we are a member of many bodies, the Organization of American States. We're a member of the United Nations. We're a member of the Commonwealth. We're a member of CARICOM. And of course, we have representatives of various countries here in Guyana who are our development partners, countries who play an important role in maintaining democracy around the globe and promoting peace, yes, and in ensuring that societies work and adhere to the norms that make up good governance. Yes. It is for this reason that countries and organizations would send missions, observer missions, to various elections as a matter of safeguard, as a matter of, if you want to put it this way, a third eye or an auditing eye to ensure that the processes, the processes and procedures relating to the elections are adhered to. Yes. Ensuring that the electoral laws are adhered to, and ensuring that the will of the people at the end of the day is respected in the outcome of the results, and that the government, that the will of the people would have turned out, would take the seat of government in any country. Unfortunately, what we have here in Guyana is that all the stakeholders who came here to observe our elections are of the singular view that, one, the tabulation of District Number 4 votes by Mingo was fraudulent, and that everyone embraced a national recount. Yes. All these observers are also of the singular view that the outcome of the recount, or the recount results, which shows a People's Progressive Party civic victory, is credible, that result is acceptable, and that result should be the result that is used by GCOM for the declaration of the president and the calculation of seats at the national level in parliament and at the regional level, at the RDC level, and then for the installation of the new government. So there is no debate about that. The only, well, let me make this other point. Notwithstanding that, we have seen the deliberate link in what Lowenfield exposed. We were always dealing with the Mingo's fraudulent number. But what we have seen by Mingo's fraudulent report, by Lowenfield fraudulent report that he concocted to disenfranchise people, that he concocted to derail the will of the Guyanese people, that he was indeed part of this deep-seated, deep-rooted conspiracy to steal an election.
Yes.
To steal a country. And that is a fundamental point. That is a fundamental point. I have here the page from Mr. Lowenfield Recount.
Yes.
And it says here, total valid votes cast, 460,352. These are the valid votes that the report said were cast, that all the political parties, with the exception of the APNU, AFC, signed off to.
Yes.
That all the observers and stakeholders saw and signed off to. That CARICOM's supervisory mission signed off to.
Yes.
So the world and every democratic force are on the same page. That is, the results of the recount are acceptable. The results of the recount forms the basis on which the declaration must be made, and that declaration must be made.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing here, is the way the APNU AFC is treating their supporters. Their supporters would have voted for them, but I'm sure their supporters, the majority of which, do not agree with the state of affairs.
Yes.
And for them to continuously play psychological games with their supporters is not right. For them to try to derail an entire election,
yes,
and change the narrative that is clear that they were not successful at these elections is insulting to all the stakeholders and all Guyanese. So that's the first point.
Yeah.
I want to appeal to all the APNU AFC supporters to understand the reality, to be bedded in the factual basis of what took place, and not to go on this insulting and degrading road where all those who are trying to stand up for democracy, all those who are trying to set the truth to light, they're being attacked personally. They're being insulted.
Yes.
These are leaders of great standing. These are leaders of our sister CARICOM states. President Granger himself alluded to the respect he had for CARICOM and the leadership in CARICOM.
Yes.
So he has a responsibility to call upon those within his party that are promoting nasty attacks on the leaders of this region to stop immediately. He has that responsibility. He has a responsibility to call them out. So you're right, we're in a situation where the group of persons who are trying to take away the rights of people and to impose themselves on this country are trying to present a narrative. But the world has changed. When we say we live in a global village and we are part of a global community, it means something. When this very government wanted resources to help in the pandemic, they recognized that they're part of an international community when they approached the IDB and the World Bank. How is it suddenly you believe you're not part of an international community when you have to respect the rights of people, when you have to uphold the Constitution, when the very international body is telling you, please, you're going on the wrong road, stop, come back, go on the right road in the best interest of your country and people. Suddenly they're bad, they're no good, they're interfering. They're not interfering, they're not bad. What they're doing is standing up to the principles they believe in.
So
we are part of CARICOM. We are expected to provide some leadership in this region. And the point here is, CARICOM has a responsibility to ensure things remain democratic here. Because if it does not, then we affect the entire stability of CARICOM itself. Because we are a member of CARICOM. Just as what is taking place with Venezuela, this is a situation we find ourselves in. So, in this report, with the valid votes that all the stakeholders signed off on, 460,352 votes were cast. ANOG received 2,313 votes. The APNU plus AFC received 217,920 votes. Change Guyana received 1,953 votes. The LJP received 2,657 votes. The PPP Civic received 233,336 votes. The PRP received 889 votes.
yes,
TCI 680, TNM 244, and the URP 360. This would have meant that the People's Progressive Party Civic would have won those elections.
yes,
So, as a result of this fraudulent, concocted piece, I don't want to call it a report, piece of document submitted by Lowenfield, contrary to what he himself submitted as valid votes in the recount, those organizations made some statements. And I would like to go through in a summary manner what these statements allude to. The OAS, the Organization of American States, they had this to say. They were present at the national recount. They were present at the tabulation of every region.
yes,
They said, as a result of the recount, GCOM is in possession of results based on valid votes cast. They further went on to say, the recount exercise was approved by all stakeholders, and anyone who wishes to challenge the validity can do so through an election petition. So this is a partisan statement. This is the OS saying to you, listen, the results of the national recount, the results are credible, they should be accepted and form the basis of the declaration.
yes,
And if any stakeholder have a problem with that, they can address it through an election petition.
yes,
They went forward to say that GCOM should declare the results based on the recount, and that the process must be brought to an end based on the national recount. I hope you notice the emphasis all the time
yes,
on the results of the national recount. And finally, they said that all of us must respect the will of the majority of the electorate. I want to say this, whilst the majority of the electorate elected the PPP Civic as their next government, as your president, and as someone who will be leading the next government, I want to assure you, every single supporter of every other party, that this country must work for all of us equally, that the policies and programs we pursue will be in the interests of every Guyanese equally. There is nothing to be afraid of. Don't allow the propaganda and the narrative and the misinformation that a few is trying to drive into the society to divide us to ever succeed. We should never allow it. to ever succeed. It's very important to you. That is never allowed to succeed. I wish now to turn my attention to the joint statement by the US Embassy, the British High Commission, the Canadian High Commission, and the European Union.
Yes.
And in a summary format, I wish to highlight what they had to say. One, every vote cast by every voter was reflected in the declaration. Must be reflected in the declaration. You hear that, you?
Yes.
Every vote cast by every voter must be respected in the declaration. Two, nothing we witness warrants a challenge to the inescapable conclusion that the Recount, and this is where they're quoting from the CARICOM report too,
Yes.
which they have embraced and supported. This is what it says. Nothing we witness warrants a challenge to the inescapable conclusion that the Recount results are acceptable and constitute the basis on which the declaration must be made.
Yes.
The Recount figures are acceptable and it constitutes the basis on which the declaration must be made. The third issue is that this is what they said. The trust that GCOM will meet its constitutional duty to issue a declaration on the basis of the results of the recount as conformed by CARICOM to ensure the democratic choice of the people.
Yes.
Very, very strong words. One, that GCOM must fulfill its constitutional mandate by issuing a declaration based on the recount as conformed by CARICOM.
Yes.
And all of that is needed. And all of that must be done to ensure what? We respect the democratic choice of the people. So this is a democracy issue. So the third statement, briefly, I know I'm going on for a long time.
No, that's okay.
That I want to raise with you is the Commonwealth statement.
Yes.
And very clearly, the Commonwealth said, the CARICOM report is clear. They have no doubt. No one should have a doubt. The CARICOM report is clear. Secondly, the recount results are acceptable. This is the entire Commonwealth, the entire OAS, the ABCEU, the entire CARICOM. Are we saying all of these people and all of these countries are wrong? The recount results are acceptable. But they went a step further. They said that we must adhere and do the right thing if we are to live up to the Commonwealth Charter, electoral laws, and the Constitution of our country. So in a nutshell, these are some, I've not even touched the Twitter messages from the US. I've not touched the video message from Prime Minister of Barbados. I've not touched no other message. I've stuck to these three only at this point to demonstrate to the people of Guyana that there is no reason for us to lose focus. There is no reason for us to lose patience. There is no reason for us to despair. The world is watching, and the world is with us, and the world is behind us in ensuring we do what is democratic, constitutional, and what respect the will of the people and the rule of law.
Thank you very much, President-elect Dr. Irfan Ali, for your submission. Guyana is in dire need of the truth, and I know that as our next president, Guyana has full confidence in your ability to serve, to lead Guyana, to bring back credibility, honesty, and decency, and to rebuild our country image in international fora. So Dr. Ali, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And we look forward to your continual submissions and your leadership when you assume office shortly. So thank you very much. And
Thank you
thanks
very
to
much.
Guyana.
I just want to add one little message
So yes, go ahead.
to our Guyanese brothers and sisters in Region 1. I know how difficult it is for you. I was hoping we will be in government by now to implement the many measures we have to bring back some amount of normalcy to your life there and all across Guyana as a result of this pandemic. But I understand the hardship you're facing. We're trying to see what we can mobilize. You know, the funny thing, is that since this pandemic started, we started a national drive all across this country, in every village and every corner, to help our brothers and sisters. Suddenly, the APNU AFC is in every single corner of the country trying to sell and promote a false narrative.
Yes.
Trying to play psychologically with the minds of the people. But where were they in this pandemic?
Yes.
When it really matters. So I want to say to all those in Region 1 that we have a set of measures that we're hoping by next week this issue can be settled so we can move towards making our lives easier and better. All of Guyana continue to stay safe. Continue to ensure that you take the preventative measures. We are not out of this pandemic by any means. And it is very important that we continue to stay focused on this also. I want to say to all those who continue to add their voices in this democracy call that your voices are going to be part of the history of this country. Continue to do your bit. To all those who are listening to the false narrative, I ask you to reconsider in the interests of our country, in the interests of the people of this country, what is best for our country. God bless you. God bless all of you. Take care. Be safe until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you.